Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. Langley's heart pounded like a talking drum. A frantic rhythm against the quiet hum of the Lagos traffic outside his window. He stared at the email on his laptop screen. The words Film Africa Grant, awarded, blurring through the sheen of nervous sweat on his forehead. This was it. The opportunity he'd dreamt of since he was a boy. Filming stories with his father's old camcorder. Stories of his Nigeria. Stories of his people. Yet, instead of elation, a familiar wave of dread washed over him. Imposter. His inner voice hissed. A sneering critic he knew all too well. They made a mistake. They'll find out you're a fraud. You're not a real filmmaker. This wasn't new. Langley had always struggled with imposter syndrome. Even when his short films, shot on shoestring budgets with his friends as cast and crew, garnered local acclaim, the nagging doubt persisted. He'd dismiss the praise as charity, the awards as flukes. The Film Africa grant was different, though. It was a substantial amount of money, mentorship from established filmmakers, and the chance to produce a professional short film. The stakes were higher, and so was his anxiety. His first hurdle was the pre-production meeting. He almost didn't go. He imagined seasoned professionals scrutinizing his every word, judging his inexperience. But he remembered a piece of advice from his mentor, a seasoned Nollywood director. Action cures fear. So, despite the butterflies in his stomach, he went. The meeting was nerve-wracking. Langley's hands trembled as he presented his storyboard. He stumbled over his words, convinced everyone could see the fake behind the facade. Yet, no one called him out. Instead, they asked insightful questions, offered helpful suggestions, and treated him with respect. By the end of the meeting, a small seed of confidence had been planted. The next challenge was directing the professional crew. Langley felt like a child playing dress-up. He worried he wouldn't know how to communicate his vision, that he'd make a fool of himself. Again, he pushed through the fear and focused on the task at hand. He prepared meticulously, communicated clearly, and trusted his instincts. The crew, experienced and supportive, responded positively to his direction. With each successful shot, the imposter syndrome retreated a little further. The shoot wasn't without its challenges. There were technical difficulties, scheduling conflicts, and moments of intense pressure. But Langley faced each obstacle head-on, drawing on his growing confidence and the support of his team. When the film was finally completed, Langley felt a sense of accomplishment he'd never experienced before. He watched the final cut, the story he'd envisioned coming to life on screen, and for the first time, the inner critic was silent. The film premiered at a prestigious African film festival. Langley sat in the audience, his heart still pounding, but this time with a different kind of excitement. As the credits rolled and the audience erupted in applause, a wave of pure joy washed over him. He wasn't an imposter. He was a filmmaker. The nerves and self-doubt didn't completely disappear after that. They still surfaced occasionally, especially when faced with new challenges. But now, Langley knew how to manage them. He recognized them as a familiar part of the process, a sign that he was pushing himself outside his comfort zone. He understood that action, not the absence of fear, was the key to overcoming imposter syndrome. Years later, Langley stood on a stage in Hollywood, accepting an award for his first feature film, a project born from the seed of that first grant. As he held the award, a symbol of his hard work and dedication, he thought back to that email, the one that had initially filled him with dread. He smiled. He was no longer afraid of being found out. He had finally found himself. Langley's story illustrates several key themes. Action cures fear. Langley's consistent action, despite his self-doubt, was the primary catalyst for overcoming his imposter syndrome. Each step he took, from attending the meeting to directing the crew, chipped away at his insecurities. Imposter syndrome is common. The story acknowledges that imposter syndrome is a common experience, especially for creatives and those pursuing ambitious goals. Recognizing this can help individuals feel less alone in their struggles. Focusing on the task at hand. When overwhelmed by self-doubt, Langley learned to focus on the immediate task at hand, breaking down larger projects into smaller, manageable steps. This helped him avoid getting lost in his anxieties. Progress builds confidence. Each successful step Langley took, no matter how small, contributed to his growing confidence. The positive feedback and results he received further reinforced his belief in his abilities. Acceptance of imperfection. The story acknowledges that nerves and self-doubt may not completely disappear. Langley learned to accept these feelings as a normal part of the creative process and to continue pursuing his passion despite them. Part 2. Mentoring and inspiring others. Several years after his initial success, Langley had become a well-respected figure in the African film industry. He was known not only for his compelling storytelling but also for his commitment to mentoring emerging filmmakers. He often spoke at workshops and film schools, sharing his experiences and offering guidance to aspiring creatives. He made it a point to openly discuss his own struggles with imposter syndrome, emphasizing that it was a common experience and that it didn't have to hold anyone back. He encouraged young filmmakers to focus on their passion, to take action despite their doubts, and to embrace the learning process. One day, a young woman named Aisha approached Langley after one of his workshops. She was a talented screenwriter but was struggling with the same self-doubt that Langley had once faced. She felt like an outsider in the film industry, convinced that she didn't belong. Langley listened patiently to Aisha's concerns and then shared his own story. He told her about the Film Africa grant, the nerve-wracking meetings, and the constant battle with his inner critic. He emphasized that the key was not to wait for the self-doubt to disappear but to take action regardless of how she felt. He offered Aisha practical advice, encouraging her to join a writing group, to submit her scripts to competitions, and to seek feedback from trusted sources. He also emphasized the importance of self-compassion, reminding her that it was okay to make mistakes and that every setback was an opportunity to learn and grow. Aisha took Langley's words to heart. She started submitting her scripts, even though she was terrified of rejection. She joined a writing group and found a supportive community of fellow writers. Slowly but surely, her confidence began to grow. 1 year later, Aisha approached Langley again, this time with a beaming smile. She had just received funding for her first short film, a project that had been inspired by their conversation. She thanked Langley for his guidance and encouragement, telling him that his story had given her the courage to pursue her dreams. Langley felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He realized that his journey had come full circle. He had not only overcome his own imposter syndrome but had also helped others do the same. He understood that, by sharing his experiences and offering support, he could amplify the positive impact of his own transformation, creating a ripple effect of confidence and empowerment within the film community. His journey wasn't just about his own success. It was about inspiring and empowering the next generation of storytellers. Langley's story, especially with the addition of Aisha's subplot, reinforces these key morals. Action is the antidote to imposter syndrome. Repeatedly, the story emphasizes that taking action, even when feeling doubtful, is the most effective way to combat imposter syndrome. It's through experience and accomplishment that self-doubt diminishes. Mentorship and shared experiences are powerful. Langley's willingness to share his own struggles and offer guidance to Aisha highlights the importance of mentorship and the power of shared experiences in overcoming challenges. Community and support foster growth. Aisha's experience in the writing group demonstrates the value of finding a supportive community. Connecting with others who understand your struggles can provide validation, encouragement, and a sense of belonging. Self-compassion is essential for resilience. Both Langley and Aisha learned the importance of being kind to themselves, especially when facing setbacks or self-doubt. This self-compassion allows them to persevere and continue pursuing their goals. Inspiration creates a ripple effect. Langley's journey not only benefited him personally, but also inspired and empowered Aisha, creating a positive ripple effect within the film community. This highlights the importance of sharing our stories and supporting others. Part 3. A legacy of storytelling. Years later, Langley had established his own production company, dedicated to telling authentic African stories. His films had garnered international acclaim, showcasing the rich culture and diverse perspectives of his homeland. But beyond his own success, Langley's greatest satisfaction came from nurturing new talent and creating opportunities for aspiring filmmakers. His production company became a hub for emerging creatives, providing them with resources, mentorship, and a platform to showcase their work. He established a scholarship program for young filmmakers from underserved communities, giving them access to training and equipment they wouldn't otherwise have. Isha, now a successful screenwriter and director in her own right, had become a key part of Langley's team. She played a crucial role in mentoring new talent, passing on the wisdom and support she had received from Langley years ago. One day, Langley was visiting a film school in a rural village. He was there to speak to a group of aspiring filmmakers, many of whom had never had access to professional training or equipment. He saw in their eyes the same passion and determination he had felt as a young boy with his father's camcorder. After his talk, a young man approached Langley, his eyes filled with a mix of awe and apprehension. He confessed that he had always dreamed of making films, but felt overwhelmed by self-doubt and the lack of resources. He felt like an outsider, an imposter. Langley smiled, recognizing the familiar struggle. He sat down with the young man and shared his own story, from his early struggles with imposter syndrome to his eventual success. He emphasized the importance of taking action, of finding a supportive community, and of never giving up on his dreams. As Langley spoke, he realized that his journey had become more than just a personal success story. It had become a legacy, a testament to the power of perseverance, mentorship, and the transformative power of storytelling. He had not only found his own voice but had helped countless others find theirs, creating a symphony of voices that echoed across Africa and beyond. His journey, born from overcoming his own self-doubt, had become an inspiration for generations of storytellers, a testament to the fact that even when we feel like imposters, we have the power to create something truly extraordinary. Langley's story, culminating in his mentorship of others and the establishment of his production company, solidifies these key morals. Overcoming personal challenges can lead to a greater purpose. Langley's initial struggle with imposter syndrome became the catalyst for a larger purpose, supporting and empowering other aspiring filmmakers. This highlights how personal challenges can be transformed into opportunities for service and contribution. Mentorship creates a legacy. By mentoring Aisha and countless others, Langley created a lasting impact on the film community. This emphasizes the importance of sharing knowledge and experience to empower the next generation. Empowering others amplifies positive change. Langley's efforts to provide resources and opportunities to underserved communities demonstrate the power of empowering others to achieve their dreams. This creates a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond individual success. Authentic storytelling connects us all. Langley's dedication to telling authentic African stories highlights the power of storytelling to connect people across cultures and foster understanding. The power of belief and perseverance. The overarching message is that belief in oneself, coupled with perseverance and action, can overcome even the most daunting obstacles, including self-doubt and limited resources. Part 4. The stories continue. Years later, Langley's influence on the African film landscape was undeniable. His production company had become a launchpad for countless successful filmmakers, writers, and actors. The scholarship program he established had transformed the lives of numerous young people, giving them access to opportunities they never thought possible. Langley, now an elder statesman of African cinema, had stepped back from the day-to-day operations of his company, entrusting it to Aisha and other talented individuals he had mentored. He spent his time traveling, sharing his experiences, and advocating for greater representation and diversity in the global film industry. He often visited schools and community centers, speaking to young people about the power of storytelling and the importance of pursuing their passions. He continued to emphasize the importance of overcoming self-doubt and taking action despite fear. One evening, Langley attended a screening of a new film directed by one of his scholarship recipients. The film was a powerful and moving story about a young woman's struggle to overcome adversity in a rural village. As Langley watched the film, he was deeply moved by the filmmaker's talent and vision. After the screening, the young filmmaker approached Langley, her eyes filled with gratitude. She thanked him for his support and told him that his story had given her the courage to pursue her dreams. She said, "You showed me that even when I feel like an imposter, I have a story worth telling." Langley smiled, his heart filled with warmth. He realized that his journey had come full circle, not just once, but many times over. He had started by overcoming his own self-doubt. Then he had helped others overcome theirs. And now, those he had mentored were inspiring and empowering others in turn. The stories continued, not just Langley's story, but the stories of countless others whose lives he had touched. The ripple effect of his journey had created a wave of creativity, empowerment, and authentic storytelling that continued to spread across Africa and beyond. His legacy was not just about the films he had made, but about the countless stories he had helped to bring to life. A testament to the enduring power of human connection, perseverance, and the belief in the power of every individual's unique voice. Langley's story, culminating in its expansive reach and impact on future generations of filmmakers, solidifies these core morals. The power of mentorship extends beyond individual lives. Langley's impact wasn't limited to his own success or even the success of his direct mentors. He created a system of support that continued to empower others long after his direct involvement, demonstrating the profound and lasting impact of mentorship. Creating opportunities for others creates a legacy. By establishing scholarships and creating a supportive production company, Langley built a legacy that extended far beyond his own lifetime. This emphasizes the importance of creating opportunities for others and contributing to the growth of a community. Authentic storytelling empowers communities. Langley's focus on authentic African stories not only entertained but also empowered communities by giving voice to their experiences and perspectives. This highlights the transformative power of storytelling to foster understanding, empathy, and cultural preservation. Overcoming personal challenges can ignite a movement. Langley's personal struggle with imposter syndrome became the catalyst for a much larger movement of empowerment and creative expression. This demonstrates how personal challenges can be transformed into a force for positive change. The cycle of inspiration continues. The story concludes with the understanding that the cycle of inspiration and mentorship continues, with each generation empowering the next. This emphasizes the enduring power of human connection and the ongoing evolution of creativity. Part 5. The Echo of Stories. Langley had long since passed, but the echo of his stories, and more importantly, the echo of his belief in others, continued to resonate throughout the African film industry and beyond. His production company, now run by a collective of filmmakers he had mentored, continued to produce groundbreaking films that explored diverse themes and perspectives. The scholarship program, renamed the Langley Storytellers Fund, had supported hundreds of young filmmakers, many of whom had gone on to achieve international acclaim. Their films were screened at festivals around the world, telling stories that had never been told before, stories that challenged stereotypes, and stories that celebrated the rich tapestry of African culture. In film schools across the continent, Langley's story was shared as an example of perseverance, mentorship, and the power of believing in oneself. His words, "Even when you feel like an imposter, you have a story worth telling," had become a mantra for aspiring creatives. One day, a young girl in a small village in Nigeria picked up her father's old camcorder, just as Langley had done many years before. She began filming the stories of her community, capturing the laughter of children, the wisdom of elders, and the beauty of her surroundings. She dreamed of becoming a filmmaker, inspired by the stories she had heard about Langley and the many others he had empowered. She didn't know it yet, but she was part of a legacy, a chain of storytellers that stretched across generations, connected by a shared passion for creativity and a belief in the power of human connection. The echo of Langley's stories, the echo of his belief in others, continued to inspire, to empower, and to ignite the creative spark in countless hearts, ensuring that the stories would continue to be told, and the power of the human spirit would continue to shine brightly. The cycle of inspiration, ignited by one man's journey to overcome his own self-doubt, had become an unstoppable force, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit and the transformative magic of storytelling. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you liked the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.